Everybody, and welcome back to Borderlands 3, and we are back with another build video. In this build, we are doing another Amara build, but instead of a Phasegrasp build, we are doing a Phasegrasp slash orb. I forget the name. Phase flare, whatever. The ball. We're doing a Phasegrasp slash orb video. So let's hop right into it. Now we're going to go over the weapons, the gear, and then we'll go into the class and skills itself. So gear you want to use in here. So action skill active is really good. Consecutive hits. Next two mags isn't bad. Those are just some of the anointments that you would want on Amara. So get into it. So just some weapons. I mean, just general kind of things. The Tizzy is really good. Tizzy is a really good just damage weapon for bossing. So, you know, really good there. I really like using the Fearmonger shotgun. I have consecutive hits radiation one here. This is it's probably one of my favorite shotguns to use in the game. Honestly, it's a lot of fun, and you know, acts like a Torg in a way. It shoots like these sticky things and they end up like exploding. So Fearmonger is really great. I have a DNA. The DNA is a really good SMG. It used to be one of the laughing stocks of the game, and now it's one of the best SMGs. It does every elemental damage in the game. So with Amara, when you're doing a whole bunch of elemental damage, DNA is really good. We have a Light Show. Light Show is just one of the best pistols. It's just really strong. The Skexel is one of my favorite weapons. Definitely, I think it's an underrated weapon. And I love it. I've loved the Skexel since the beginning of the game. Just the way it looks, the way it shoots. It's just a really fun gun. It's definitely my favorite COV pistol. And I got lucky enough and I got a consecutive hits one to drop on this too. Like first one I got, it's really good. The Beacon's a really good weapon. You know, this and the Hell Shock are just both really strong. The Hornet's really good. Grasp is also okay. I'd rather go. Action skill active I think is better, but Grasp is, if you don't get action skill active, you can get a Grasp one. Grasp is also pretty good. Hornet is really good. It's against armored targets. I have Chaosins. Chaosins are really good. You know, the explosion, you get 2 hits pretty much. You hit them once and then it explodes and you get another hit. Again, you know, I don't have any elemental ones sadly, but you know, again, any Chaosin you get with like any good anointments, you're good to go. Bloodstarved Beast is great. You know, just pick one up and you're good to go. Crit is amazing. I have a few different crits on here. Action skill active one, then I also have the Grasp one. Crit is really good. You know, obviously elemental damage. Kibsworth isn't bad. I haven't really actually used Kibsworth on this character. I just had one on here, but again, it's an SMG. It does elemental damage. It's good. The Devoted and Westergon have gotten buffed recently. I haven't really got a chance to use them. But I think if you get some good anointments on them, they can do work, elemental wise. Flipper. I mean, the Flipper is just one of the best SMGs in the game. So you can't really go wrong with a good Flipper. Plasma Coil, again, one of the best SMGs in the game. It just does so much damage. I have a consecutive hits one, which again, consecutive hits probably the best anointment to get on her. But the second best is action skill active. Monarch, just really good DPS weapon. Lob is still a good weapon, and Hellwalker is really good. For rocket launchers, Backburner, Plague Bearer are probably the 2 best ones. Rhino might be okay, but you really need anointments on the Rhino before even really using that. Snipers, I mean, whatever good elemental snipers. I forgot to put the complex route. The complex route I haven't tested since it got like nerfed a while ago, but I need to retest that. But Sandhawk's great, obviously. So for shields, Old Gods are probably the best shields. Old Gods, Transformers, Void Rift. I mean, really, you know, Black Hole. There's really like, there's so many. Faulty Stars, not terrible. You can use the Plus Ultra. Like really any shield. Stopgap is also good. I like using Old God because it boosts your elemental damage. So that's why that. Any grenade, really. The Piss Grenade is probably the best one to get. But you really just want action skill and stuff. Or grenade throw, up to you. Phaserker is my favorite one to use. If you feel like you need to be a little tankier, Stone is really good. But Phaserker is just going to give you a lot more damage. Yeah, and just I have a whole bunch of different ones there. Splat, you really either want like weapon damage, action skill cooldown rate, splash damage. Actually, I'll go ahead and put a splash damage one right now. That splash damage is really good. Other than, again, for artifacts, Victory Rush, any kind of Victory Rush is good. I have a Snowdrift Victory Rush. Icebreaker Victory Rush would also be a good one if you're using Cryo on this build. I also have a Cut Purse Victory Rush, just, refill ammo. Cut Purse Launchpad. You're mainly going to use the Launchpad to refill ammo. I just had this one before I got that one. They both work fine. And then obviously a Pearl. Just the damage you get from the Pearl is ridiculous. So if you're doing like harder content, I put the Pearl on. But if you're just going around doing general stuff in the game, Victory Rush is probably better. Again, like, grenades don't matter. Grenades in this game really don't matter much anyway, so it kind of sucks. I wish grenades did more. But anyway, on to the build. We're going to start off in the purple tree. I went 5 out of 5 in heavy rain to increase your projectile speed and splash damage. This is just really good because your splash damage, you want to do splash and all this stuff. It's going to give you a whole bunch of damage. Also, one note with the projectile speeds, I think I talked about it in my last video, is that it does hurt the DNA projectile a little bit, because it splits further out and not as close. So closer, you're not going to get as much DPS as you normally would. Also went 5 out of 5 and Trust Yourself. Whenever an enemy breaks your shield, you gain reload speed, charge speed, weapon swap speed, and it's doubled if your shield's broken by melee. This should just give you bonuses. Your sweat weapon swap speed might be useful if you need to use a different weapon because your shield broke or something. Reload, really good. I did 3 out of 3 with Go with the Flow. Whenever Amara freezes an enemy, she gains movement speed and weapon damage. If you're doing Cryo, this is good. If you really don't want to use Cryo, then you can opt out of Go with the Flow. And you might not want to go down this entire tree at all. If you just want it, but it's pretty good. And then I also went 3 out of 3 and then Weave the Rainbow. Whenever Amara does bonus damage of her to an element, whenever she does melee damage or splash damage to frozen enemies. So whenever you freeze enemies and you do splash damage, you deal bonus elemental damage. So that's pretty cool. I didn't put any points in this because we're not doing melee, so we really don't want any of the melee skills here. So that's why we didn't go into melee. Burn both ends. After activating her action skill, she gains increased threat for a short time, drawing attention of all enemies, which is, that's just kind of, you're playing solo most of the time, so that's just really good. And then whenever she is dealt damage by an enemy, she gains increased damage. So you can gain 15 stacks with 5 damage per stack. So that's what, 75% damage. That's pretty good. We went 1 and Free the Soul, which is just whenever you kill an enemy, splinters fly out from that enemy and home and deal cryo damage. It's pretty good. Just cryo some enemies. You just kind of want to freeze. We're not really using it for damage. It's just kind of get some cryo damage out there. We went 3 out of 3 in Body and Mind. Whenever you kill an enemy, you'll do bonus splash damage for a short time. Gets more splash damage. And then Clear the Mind. After killing an enemy, you ignore damage resistance for a short time. So you can just kind of deal bonus damage. So your fire damage is gonna actually deal good damage against shield. So it's really good. As you can also see, I went purple and red sheet. I wanted to see how that would work because obviously blue tree you're gonna get Avatar and Remnant, and you're gonna get a whole bunch of good damage skills here. I just wanted to test out a new build, and so far it works great. It can do the raids pretty well. It can do the slaughter shafts. It can do the I forget the other thing, the trials. It's a good build, and it does it can do everything else in the game. For blue chi, we went 5 out of 5 and do harm. Just action skill damage is really good. 5 out of 5 in restless to get our action skill and cooldown rate because we need that. And then we went 1 in ascendant, just to boost everything else. Oh, also in here I like to go expedite, which is whenever Amara kills an enemy with her action skill, she gains increased action skill cooldown rate. Until she activates her action cooldown. I don't know if this actually works really. I don't know how well this works with Ties That Bind. But if it doesn't work, let me know in the comments if you know if it doesn't work. But so far I've been using it and it seems to work okay. But if not, then just go ahead and put Soul Sap on. For the red tree, we went 5 out of 5 in anima just to increase our status effect stuff. We went 2 out of 3 in steady hands to increase our weapon handling and accuracy. And we went 2 out of points in infusion to give all our weapons elemental damage. So cryo is good. Went 5 out of 5 in tempest to, you'll do more elemental damage. Went 2 out of 5 in wildfire just to like, spread stuff. So again, you cryo one enemy, it goes to the other enemy. We put a point in dread, he'll increase gun damage when an enemy is grasped. 3 out of 3 in indiscriminate, just ricochet bullets. I mean, it's really good. We did 1 point in deep well to increase our magazine size with elemental weapons. We put 2 points into sustainment just for some lifesteal, and then we just have points in here from our class mod. So, that's not bad. So again, just putting elemental damage on everything. It's really good. Which also works with some badass stuff. Yeah, so there we go. And now for our green tree, we only put 3 points, 3 out of 3 in personal space. We have cryo, so we really don't need corrosive. And we've put in points in other places too, so there was really no need to like put extra points here. But if you don't have like the purple tree, you can ignore the purple tree, put all the points, come all the way down here to get avatar. And you can put some points in here, put either in these, and then go down and grab arm steel to gain your, to deal increased splash damage and stuff. Or helping hands. Either of those is really good as well, because this, increasing your splash damage. You could do like a cool splash damage build too, with the purple and a little bit in the green. And you could take some points from like the blue tree if you don't want, it's a personal preference on what you want to do. Yeah, so that's the build. Let's go ahead and test it out and see how things do. Right now we'll use the Fearmonger. I'll show you guys how well the Fearmonger works. Just kind of. It's not like the most damaging shotgun, but it's pretty good. I like it. This build's a lot better when you can, you just start. It's definitely a lot better for like crowd control. This is not like the best bossing build. Where Amara is not the best at bossing anyway, so. And personal space just gives you so much like damage that like I feel like I had to put points in that tree even though I wasn't going down. So yeah, right there. Now we have our action skill again. So I think it does work with Ties That Bind. Test out the light show too. We'll use different weapons throughout the skill too, and just see how they work. And I'll test out the Skexel. I'll show you guys the Skexel as well. Alright, just. We lose some reload speed because there are certain skills that further down the blue tree that we're not like getting. But when our shield is broken, like, we're gonna get a whole bunch of stuff too. So, but you're dealing so much damage, like, unless you're like in a boss fight, your shield's really not gonna break because you're killing everything so quickly. I'll show up the Tizzy just real quick. And right there, look at that. Even with like having the Tizzy fully charged, you're just dealing so much damage. Let's test out some different weapons. Put on the Skexel. And we'll try out the Left Starved Beast. And we will put on the... Let's put on the Wester Gun. I haven't really used the Wester Gun very much, so if it doesn't do as much work as... Again, fire on shield is not the best. Once you get that thing where you ignore the, damage resistances stuff, you're popping out a good amount of damage. And then here. I don't know. I think this gun does need another buff, but it does okay. And this is the Skexel. Does decent work. Yeah. Let's go ahead and take the Western Gun off, actually. It does not seem to be doing well. We'll go ahead and put on the Chaosin. Again, the Skexel is one of my favorite weapons in the game. I just absolutely love it. Some ammo. Phasegrasp.
You enjoying the show?
Look at that. And then we'll kill him. We'll get our action skill back immediately.
I'm ready for a fight.
That's why, like, I don't think you need to go down the blue tree, where you need all, like, you need two of them. If you just phase grasp and just kill everything. Like, if you're going against bosses, it's great. But, like, when you're not, it's not, like, a huge deal. And we'll phase grasp this dude. Or we'll just not phase grasp him. That's cool. As long as you're killing, like, two enemies, like, at least two enemies with your phase grasp, like, you're in a good position. Let's RV 60. Look at that. Just shreds. Like, this build shreds. And I haven't really seen, I don't go out and look at, like, a whole bunch of builds, but, like, when I watch the people, I don't really see them doing a whole bunch of, like, purple and red tree with phase grass. It's usually you want blue. But purple works just fine. Like... no problem. Not getting a kill skill, and against shield you're gonna have a little bit of a problem, but... I mean, once we, like... fine. This build does, like, rock pretty hard. This is my, this Amara right here was my day one Borderlands 3 Amara. This is the character I have played the entirety of the game. And I have worked hard to kind of just, like, work on so many different builds. And I've watched, like, different builds too, and, you know. But, like, since it's my main character, I like to just see how I can do it. Look at that. Everyone's dead. I'm gonna have my action skill again. And it's just like another phase grasp. Yeah, look at that. Look at that. But you're losing a lot of fire rate and stuff by not going all the way down the blue tree and get all those, like, skills, but I mean, you're doing a lot of damage to where it's not even that big of a deal. And if you get into a position where you need help, like, you have the skill for when your shield breaks, you're getting increased, like, reload speed and stuff, so it's like, you're not in a, like, bad position. Look at that. Everything just dies. Like, it's... like, everything is just getting shredded. Like, it's not even, like, fair. Test out the Skexel again. And you ignore the shield, and you're just like... what we get? I'm forgetting. Alright. We're gonna fire the boss, and he is resistant to fire and cryo, so we're gonna manage our loadout. Put shock on. Let's test out... let's see. What's a good weapon to test out here, guys? Let's just put on the plasma coil, because the plasma coil is just mean. And we'll go ahead and put on the ball. This is one where you shoot an enemy and it will go towards them. So... And he's dead. Look at that, guys. That was... Could have been a little bit easier there. I mean, the orb that you shoot is a little bit, like, weird. But... it's fine. Well, like, that's the build, guys. I mean, that's purple, red tree, Phasegrasp Amara. I call this my Elemental Queen Amara. That's just something I've been calling it since, like, the start of the game. I just call it my, you know, it's just Elemental Queen. You just do a whole bunch of different elemental damage. You're freezing. You're doing everything, right? Phasegrasp, you're putting so much elemental damage on everyone. Everyone's dying. It's a really good build. It's strong. It can get through most of the content in the game. You know, so it clears groups of enemies so quickly. Bosses it can kill pretty easily. Like, this is my do everything in the game Amara build. So, you know, if you like the video, leave a like. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe and, you know, share the video. You know, get these builds out there, let people just have fun. That you don't have to do like the main like 2 trees in the Mara. You don't have to do these 2 trees. You can do the purple tree, which is really good. You don't only have to do melee with it. Like, you know, it works, guys. Share the video, leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.